Hey guys, it's Jeremy Ashburn with SEnuke.tv, and this is the Pinger Indexer and Toolbox training video. Now the goals of this video are to give you some definitions and then show you how to use the Pinger Indexer and Toolbox. Now indexing is when Google catalogs and organizes your content on their search engine. And Google seems to index